Alright, in today's video we're going to talk about my 9-month-old GSP's first Samba deer. Let's get into it. So I was sitting around at home, didn't really know what I was going to do. The weather forecast was it was going to shit down, which it currently is, and I've just come back. So yeah, it was a last minute thing. I went, bugger it, I'll just go out in the bush and take the dog for a walk. So went to the normal spot. Now there's an area, it's literally a track I use to get into where I normally hunt. And I have with a mate before shot a deer there. Well, he shot a deer there. It's about 400 metres from where the cars are parked, just off on the right hand side, a little bit of rising ground. He shot a deer there. That was, I don't know if you remember the Instagram post about that. I'll pop that up on the screen now. We tracked the blood trail for about 1,400 metres, I think it was. It was a massive big loop. And then we never recovered the deer. Went back in there a couple of weeks later and we could smell a dead deer pretty much back at the car. So I've done a massive circle. Anyway, so walking in there, there's every now and again you'll get deer up on that right hand side on the high ground. And sometimes they'll honk as you're walking in. So I decided this day, why not try something different? I don't really think I was going to see anything. I just wanted to walk around in the bush. So instead of walking down the track, I got up on that high ground and walked along the ridge so I could see down onto the track. We're going pretty slow, and I sort of stopped to glass a little bit, and May walked out in front of me. So when I hunt with May, she stays at heel, right next to me, or maybe slightly behind me. And yeah, so she walked out in front, which piqued my attention, because usually when she walks out in front it's because she's seen something. Now, she has pointed deer before, I just haven't shot a deer off her before. So she starts pointing down the hill towards this area that looks like a bed. I start glassing it, and I can't really see anything, and then, as it always happens in this particular area, the wind has swirled. So the wind, instead of being in my face, is now blowing up my ass straight down this gully, and the deer stands up and starts honking at me. And I can't really see it still. I know it's there, obviously, because it's honking. She's sitting down, just pointing down the hill. So I sort of lined her nose up and sort of, where's she looking, figured it out. So one, looking off her, and two, off the sound of it honking. And I ended up finding it, and it was in like this V shape, like a tree, I guess. And I'm going to do a really, really piss poor animation right now, and I'll show you kind of what I was looking at. I threaded this round through there. Now, whether I did a very bad shot or whether the bullet hit a twig on the way through, there was a lot of fucking brush and shit in the way there. Either way, the round's gone high. Not by much, but enough. Anyway, so the deer, it's been hit. It runs down the hill slightly, maybe about 10 to 15 metres. It tumbles, hits the deck, is down for about 5 seconds, stands up, and then it starts running away. Now when it's running, it's not really full sprint. If you've seen the Samba sprinting, they're pretty bloody quick. It wasn't full sprint, it was sort of laboured, so I knew I had a fairly good shot on it. Went down the hill, picked up its blood trail, which was pretty much on the track. Mate, good girl. Good point, mate. So we were just up on that ridge, got honked by a deer, just down in here. I took a front on, low neck, high brisket shot, and I've just found his blood trail, so there's fucking blood everywhere. So good blood trail. As I said, I'm going to take it nice and slow, let this cut lie down and fucking die, and we'll go from there. Good blood. Hopefully the blood track stays up and I can follow those. I don't want to push too quick because I don't want it to stand back up and run off, but I also want to make sure I can find the fucking thing, so I'll have to be patient. Might have to learn to be patient, but yeah, looks like it's a good hit. This blood's a fair way up off the ground. Up to the bottom of there is probably 2.5 feet, so my assessment that I've hit it low neck or high brisket is probably pretty accurate. It was front on. So I followed the track for maybe 100 metres and we're already like, there's blood, there's fucking blood eyes and going down to droplets. So I really hope that that's done a good hit. She's bleeding internally because it was front on, so hopefully it's hit a lung and she's bleeding internally. The last thing I want is to have either put a bad shot on, or I can't follow the blood trail, I can't recover it. So this went on for a fair few hundred metres. I didn't want to push too quick because I've done that before. I've hit a deer and then pushed in too quick, and they haven't been wounded enough. They've got more adrenaline, they know they're being chased, and they end up going a hell of a lot further, and either you can't recover them, which has happened to me a million times, or you end up going for a bloody long time. So I just sort of took my time going through the bush and trying to find these blood trails. I knew it was a pretty good hit, and I knew it was high because of how high off the ground a lot of the blood marks were against the trees. I knew it was on her right hand side because of where her hoof marks were. The blood was all on the right. So I sort of started to piece together in my head as I was following the blood trail that I hadn't hit her front of the brisket, because if I had she probably would have dropped on the spot. So at that point I sort of realised, okay, maybe I haven't hit the front, I've hit on the side and it's been hit high, which now I know that it's going to be a while before this deer goes down, because if it's high, it's probably just lung. They can go especially if they only hit one lung, they can go for a while before they tumble over. So I didn't want to push too quick, so I was taking my sweet time. After about an hour, I was pushing through. The ground sort of opened up and it had like reeds and low-lying crap everywhere, which is kind of hard to follow the blood trail at that point, because where she was bleeding from was so high that the blood was actually spurting out as she was running. So the blood trail was actually adjacent to her foot tracks. The foot tracks, would be here, and the blood trail would be a metre or two to the right of it because of how high up and spurting that blood was. But because it was spurting, I knew it was a pretty good hit. Now, as I'm going through this open ground, I can hear something off on my left down, and knowing the area, it's heavily treed. There's like a tree wall, and behind that is another slightly open-ish area where all these reeds and shit is. I can hear something fucking around behind me as I'm stalking through trying to find this dead deer. Now, when I did shoot, I heard a second one run. I think it's a fawn. So I don't really want to shoot that fawn, but we'll see what happens if I can find this dead one first, and then the fawn comes up, I might shoot it. A lot of extra meat, but if it's a bit older, it could probably survive on its own. I'll probably leave it, but if it's really young, I'll probably just shoot it, because it'll end up just getting eaten by fucking dogs or some shit anyway. I didn't want to go too far looking down. I wanted to stay on the blood trail, because when I did the original shot, a second deer did run off. So I figured it was probably the second deer, and I have a feeling that it was a fawn, because only one deer honked me. And when later on I found the tracks of that second deer, and they were very small. So I reckon it was a fawn or a younger female, because this one was older and a bit bigger. Anyway, that's an aside. So I thought this might have been the other deer, and I didn't want to lose these blood trails going down to where this noise was. I think I'm going to have to hurry the fuck up, because it's starting to rain, and this rain is going to wash away the blood, which is fucked. So I'll stop filming. I'm just going to find this fucking thing, hopefully. So I'm pushing along, the blood's getting sparser, and then I get to these two trees where this deer has leaned up against the trees. Now, this is at the base of a hill, so she's been going downhill pretty much all this time. And it looks like she's leaned up against these trees and had a bit of a rest, and then the blood trail stopped. I couldn't find it. So I figured, well, she may have like caught her breath there and then gone up the hill. The only other option is that she's gone down the hill to the left. But I couldn't find the blood trail. I couldn't find it up the hill, and I couldn't find it going down. So I had to then cut circles around my last known bit of blood, and I did, a 5 metre loop, a 10 metre loop, a 15 metre loop, a 20 metre loop, a 25 metre loop. Did a fair few of those, and then eventually, it was funny actually, a mate of mine, I'd sent him a picture when I sent the original blood trail. I'd sent him a photo and gone, hey man, I've got a deer that I'm chasing down, and he's away at the moment, so he was pretty bloody pissed off. Anyway, he'd called me at this point where I couldn't find this this blood trail, So we were just talking on the phone. I'm like, yeah, man. Well, you know, I can't find this fucking deer. And I talked him through what I was looking at, and he's a pretty bloody good deer hunter. He's better than me at hunting. So talking through what I'd say, and he's like, no, it's definitely gone downhill. That's where you should be focusing your search. So I'm just talking on the phone and walking down the hill. Talking, you know, quietly, not like, not like an ethnic, hey mate, fucking. But as I was about to say, catch her, I looked down and there was the blood.
Alrighty, we're back on the blood trail. Let's fucking get this cunt. Hopefully I reckon she's done. She's now going downhill. There is a creek down the bottom there, so there's also beds, so she's probably gone down there to die. Let's go and fucking find her.
Down through this big tree wall that I was talking about, into the next pocket of open-ish ground where all these reeds and shit are. And I could see heavy footprints, so she's getting very, very heavy on the foot now, but the blood is getting less and less. The noise I could hear earlier, which was off my left, which is from the area I am in now, so I'm in that area, I can hear that noise again. Don't really know what it is. It's like a knocking noise. I figured it might have been a bird up a tree, but there's this knocking noise, like not all the time, but like that sort of thing, intermittent. Can't find the blood. I've lost the hoof marks because in this pocket is like a bit of a highway for deer, so there's fresh deer shit everywhere. There is tracks crisscrossing, going across the whole bloody thing, so I can't find it, which ones are hers. Can't find the tracks. They've got no blood. And at this point I'm like, well, fuck, I'm pretty sure I've lost her. I've been tracking for about 2 hours. Well, near on 2 hours. And I've probably gone a few hundred metres, maybe 400 or 500 metres maybe, in a bit of a loop. Anyway, yes, I think I've lost her, and then May walks out in front again and points, and then I look through the bush, in the open ground, behind a bush, there's the deer.
Hey, good work. There it is, boys. There it is. Thank fuck for that. Well, tradition. Hat goes on backwards, so your hunting mates know you've got one on the ground. Thank fuck for that. Let's have a look at the damage, eh? That's definitely a lung, look at that shit.
So I ended up staying there, butchering the deer. I took one leg off, one front leg, to carry back to the car with all my hunting crap on. Took that back to the car, ditched the rifle, ditched my bino rig and all that crap I didn't need, grabbed my backpack with all my game bags and everything in it, came back out to the carcass, and each way was probably over a kilometre, I don't know, but it's hard to tell because there's a bit of a weird loop there, but let's just say a K each way. So back to the car, got the backpack, come back to the carcass. I ended up cutting off all 4 legs.
For those of you asking about knives, I'm going to take this whole leg off just with this. And I've got that knife there just for skinning. So made a little cut right there. Use the hook on that, ripped the line, and now just separating that membrane there. Hit the ball joint, we'll pop it off, get the leg off. Kind of hard to film and cut at the same time because I'm not left-handed, but I'm recording right-handed. That's your ball joint. Just me going through and cutting around it. And yeah, separate it. Good to go.
I carried them back. I came back for the back straps. I cut them out. Went back to the car again. So I think I had back straps and probably a leg or something. I can't remember now. And then I got to the car and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to go back to that carcass and get all the neck meat because I didn't want to leave anything behind. There was, you know, rib meat. I don't usually take rib meat because it's a bit of a pain in the ass when you're out in the bush. If I, was next to a road and could just hang the fucking thing up and butcher it properly, I would do the whole animal. But when you're cutting it, a couple of K round trip every time, it's a bit of a pain in the ass.
Well, ended up going back for a 4th trip because I wanted to get all the extra fucking neck meat, and I pulled out the tongue and all sorts of shit, so. Good girl, good work. Good work, mate. Oh, you're just the cutest. You're the nicest hunting dog ever. Woof woof. Oh, you're tired now, aren't you? Big day, girl. Hey? Lots of trips. Proud of you, mate. Good on you.
So there you go. That's my little story about May, my GSP's first deer. Now that we've got pretty much a whole deer hanging up in the garage, I guess I'm going to have to make some cooking videos. So whoever it was in the comments a couple of times been spamming my videos saying, make more cooking videos. The cooking videos don't do very well. I get maybe 200 or 300 views on each of those, whereas, you know, most of my firearms ones I get like a couple of thousand. I think my shotgun one's up to like 15 or 20,000 views or something ridiculous at the moment. So yeah, cooking videos don't do very well, but, you know, if you want cooking videos with venison stuff, then we'll get straight onto that. Well, I am buggered. My back is sore. It's a lot of stomping. It's been a big day. So thanks for watching to the end. You're the real MVP. See you next video, and hooroo.